Hello, hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? Can I get a quick sound check? All right, all right. Hopefully, you are all doing well. I hope you all had a great weekend. As traders, our weekends are one of two things, right? Either 100% time off or 100% grind mode, backtesting a bunch of stuff, right? So I don't know what you guys did this weekend. I took it pretty easy. Not gonna lie to you guys. It was a rough 3 weeks, right? Seen a lot of downside that not necessarily was unexpected, but more so came very quickly. A lot of volatility. Make sure we remain aligned with the markets, right? Hence these weekly outlooks. Now, there's a very simple reason why I'm starting today on this beautiful daily chart. It's because I want to see my monthly power of three. Because you'll see as we move forward that my whole analysis will be based on the fact that this month is an open low, and I want to see this week form structure to push up to the upside. That's what I want to see. I want to see us turn bullish. Now, is this the most probable outcome? It is very hard to say at the moment. I would not say it is. Especially with a new week opening gap like this, I'm expecting some sort of consolidation into a midweek reversal. This is what I'm looking at. So whether we go up or down, I'm going to be considering higher prices, hopefully. But you got to understand that for us to go towards higher prices, we first have to fill this huge gap, right? And I'm going to leave the new week opening gap out of it and just frame this daily fair value gap on both our assets, including, of course, the top volume imbalance. And yes, the new week opening gap is part of this. So I want to see us trade back up here, meaning that I will be looking to take longs all the way up here. And once we have traded, whether it is mainly in the new week opening gap or not, then I could consider shorts. But I want to bring us back very quickly. This is a bit of unconditional model. Not unconditional is not the right word, but different than usual, right? Of how I'm going to be approaching today. But I want us to do a very quick study. I keep referring to you guys about IPDA data ranges and SMT for high probability objectives, right? But there are opportunities to see key turning points in price based on these specific ranges, right? And I am going to frame ES as the main asset. So I use the high on ES and draw out my range on NASDAQ. But we've taken IPDA 40 lows, and as we've talked about mainly on Friday's PA review, we've taken our high probability objective, which is SMT, in relation to these at the extremities of these look back ranges, right? These IPDA ranges. We're currently talking about IPDA 40 range more specifically. Now that we've taken this objective, and yes, I am talking about NASDAQ at this specific point in time, we have taken this objective. Well, on ES, we do not have to take it anymore. And currently, there is SMT, right? There is SMT showcasing that ES is stronger, as we've known for a while now, and that NASDAQ is weaker. And it is the same thing that we are going to be looking for, just like we were looking for last week. I want to see higher. What do I need to see higher? I need to see a close above this fair value gap, specifically. Now, if I don't get a close above this fair value gap and I see us respect it, I'm going to be taking shorts, expecting the invalidation of this SMT. I have a little different approach to, whereas you guys know, right? Yeah, for those that have been present for a few more outlooks, maybe some of you guys are new to this, and if so, welcome. Well, you guys know that when I'm bullish until proven otherwise. Short is a little different. I don't try to catch every bottom, but I understand that short trends are usually short-lived compared to otherwise, right? Compared to bullish trends, especially since I'm trading the indices futures markets, right? I understand that we are going to be bullish the majority of the time, so I'm considering the option to go higher. Now, if we start trading below this low, which is our April lows, right? Consolidation, which can also be framed as accumulation. We had a super clean manipulation of IPDA 40 lows. I don't know if you guys remember this. And then we distributed higher. If we flip this range completely, I might start considering lower prices on a more long on a more longer term. And it would mean that we were going to displace through all these discount bullish arrays and then go target these lows, then I'm going to be considering lower prices from this point on. Now, I do want to go to the monthly chart very quickly, right? And yes, I'm going to leave this SMT on here, but we are within a monthly order block and we have just opened on a new month. And yes, that open, I was talking to a student about this very well, Julian, she's right in here. That open low is 1500 handles. Now, that is not a small open low. It is not something that I would like to consider as my month is going to put up a low. So I think we do have indeed a lower objective. I believe that objective has been met and that we are now going to see some structure form during the week. I'm considering the whole week to be the accumulation of the month, to then have next week be beautifully low resistance to the upside. Now, that's what I want to see. This fair value gap will frame everything I want, meaning that tomorrow I'm going to be targeting this fair value gap and possibly a short out of this fair value gap, right? Always targeting low-hanging fruit objectives will make it so that even if you're not on side with your higher time frame expansion, you'll still be able to get results, right? Reach your objectives. But you want to remain, I don't know how to say that correctly, but variable, right? Price is going to do what it's going to do. At this very moment, it could keep expanding lower. We could see SMT form just like we have now, just because ES is slower. But I want to see some sort of structure form that tends to bring us towards bullish outcomes. This is my exact plan for the week. If we have any questions, make sure you ask them right now, because afterwards I do want to showcase a little something. So I'm going to give you guys a second to see if we have any questions on the outlook specifically. What weekly profile are you anticipating? I missed it when you said it. Well, I base purely on news, which is where I look at weekly profiles. I consider high impact news events. And based on those, we have Monday and Thursday news. So technically, with that in mind, I would consider that Monday will form one extreme of the week and Thursday will form the other. Meaning that I'm looking for a classic week, whether that's a classic buy week or a classic sell week. I'd like to see a classic week, hopefully with some previous day low SMT, meaning one asset takes out previous day low on Tuesday, which means takes out Monday's low, and the other doesn't, which would give me a candidate for a low of the week, and then see higher prices, whether that's a retracement or not, right? We have our objectives. We want to see this daily fair value gap. If we trade above it, inverse, look for longs above it. Those are weekly, are this week's above objectives. Now lower, we know where the liquidity is, right? We know where price is going to expand. And I don't know if you guys remember, but in April, we talked about this area and how, for lack of better words, fucking ugly it was, right? So this could be a big draw, whereas there was a lot of consolidation. You see a lot of volume imbalances, opening gaps. You have clear objectives below there. So we have lower objectives and higher objectives, and we will wait for the week to develop to tell us, will it be a classic buy week, or the other profile I will be considering is a consolidation reversal week. So seeing Monday form range that Tuesday and possibly Wednesday will trade into, to have that Thursday news provide us with a Thursday to Friday weekly expansion. Now, those are the two possible development of the week that I will be considering specifically. Does that make sense, Rusty? Awesome. All right. This is it for the weekly outlook. If that's all you came for, you can leave right away. I am going to spend 10 minutes to showcase something that we've seen in the past, but I didn't spend a lot of time back then. So I'm just going to move to the left, right? And I just talked about this manipulation we had in April, right? So if we do go check and align our charts and just move these IPDA ranges, that's why I love, by the way, this is a 2 degrees tool. This is free for anyone to use. It is anchored IPDA. I love this because you can just move it aside and see your ranges based on those. And if you look at the look forward, right, it also adjusts based on this if you are backtesting these concepts. So definitely would recommend handing and looking into that indicator. But I want you guys to compare this specific instance, and I'm actually gonna get a second instance of the indicator on the chart so we can see both, right? And I will remove the look forward. As you can see, fully customizable. I am a big fan of this specific indicator. Now let me just take a second and adjust these so I can give you guys valuable insight. I need to get quicker at messing around with these specific indicators, but definitely a useful tool. All right, so now that I have them plotted, as you can see, we have the reversal here on NASDAQ, and I am going to move it aside. I had NASDAQ as a driver here, but here, you know what? Let's make it even simpler. Purely mechanical, you would place it on the high after a shift, meaning a point in time where you expect a shift. And right here with April, we had another quarter starting. So you would expect some sort of manipulation lower if you anticipated it to continue higher afterwards. All right. So I am going to hide the more recent one. Well, that's not the one. That's the one. All right. A little bit of a hard time here. If we look in the past and we consider what we just looked at, what did we see? Well, high probability objectives, right? So you are going to look for what? Well, I'm going to look for SMT, first of all, right? There's no SMT here. Where is there SMT? Well, at this level. So I understand that these are high probability objectives. What does a high probability objective mean? Well, it means that a high percentage of the time it will get hit, meaning it is likely to be reached. And as you can see on both assets, they were reached. So first of all, just showcasing the logic I shared with you guys and been sharing for a while now about these high probability long-term bias objectives. But now I want to bring your attention to that IPDA 40 range, and more specifically, what we did on NASDAQ here. I am going to plot it up the same on ES, just so you guys can see. By the way, ES on the right, NASDAQ on the left. What do you see? Well, we took IPDA 40 lows and then into a higher time frame PD array. Now I am going to frame this high probability order block right here. Let me just mark it out. High probability bullish order block. Let's just do this before going higher. This is what formed the low of this run, right? And if we always think in terms of AMD and power of 3, this is what formed the manipulation to then distribute towards higher prices, which did last a while, right? If we just look at the time aspect, we've been distributing for 80 days, almost 3 months there. And well, if we're considering trading months, we're looking at about 4 months, right? Because we only have 5 days in a week. And this whole move was formed by referencing this 60-day look back, right? If we go below that range and don't form the low at these IPDA 40 lows, I'm considering us to be fully bearish and to go target these IPDA 60 lows, right? That's what I'm going to refer. But if you look, both assets return to a full discount of their 60-day look back, right? And more specifically, now I can't go to a weekly chart and showcase these ranges, but if we look at the levels I pointed out on the weekly, we swept liquidity on the weekly into a higher time frame order block, right? This is my high probability daily order block. If I just point it out here, you'll notice that all we did was refer to the higher time frame range, took out our internal liquidity simply to return to our first discount in efficiency. What was our first discount in efficiency? This liquidity being swept into this fair value gap, but since there was liquidity there, fair value gap already rebalanced, we could anticipate it to go all the way down to the order block. Now, if we look at ES, which was our stronger asset and refer to the same range, we still returned to our first weekly inefficiency, right? It might be a little hard to see now, but if you look at the lines I just plotted and it aligns with our daily liquidity objectives, you'll see our first discount inefficiency alongside our high probability objective. When you see all these things aligned, this is where opportunity comes, right? Any type of swing trader would want to be in this move. And I want you guys to take the time, because this is real sauce I'm giving to you guys right now. I want you to take the time and rewatch this video and really think about the logic I just shared. Because I'm utilizing the same concepts I am on every week: premium and discount, SMT, but now I'm referencing to specific ranges. And price is fractal. You can utilize this in any time frame. I only utilize it for higher time frame analysis when I'm talking about this specific IPDA 40 range, but I've seen a bunch of people being super successful with market maker model trading utilizing these ranges. But just to say, this 13% up run went that way. Okay, well now, if I do the same thing I just did, but now I will remove the drawings and refer to the other anchored IPDA, right, the more recent range. Let me just adjust this, remove the drawings. What do we see at the moment? The same exact thing. NASDAQ taking IPDA 40 lows, while ES is not taking these lows. SMT being formed. Our higher time frame objective that was formed with SMT has been taken, but only on NASDAQ. What does that mean? Well, this is a high probability objective that I want both assets to take out, meaning that ES could very well take this out, which would invalidate the SMT we were just talking about with this key level, but we still have further swing points, and we still have further swing points. Meaning that even though I want to see upside, if I want to be timed with the markets, I will wait for a swing low to be formed. All of that to come to this specific logic, but I did want to showcase how I came to understand these specifics, because that's how I work with you guys. You already know it, right? So I think that I want to see higher prices. Well, I don't think I want to see higher prices, but I don't know if it's going to be this week. I don't think it's going to be this month. We could wait until elections, right? Election year. There are a lot of time variants to consider for long-term movements. But for this week, I've shared with you guys the same as I always do, right? These are my upside objectives, and here's why I could consider them and where my invalidation is. And if I get invalidated, well, here are my downside objectives. So I hope that was clear to you guys. I am gonna wait, see if you guys have any questions, but if not, that was all for today, as I do have to get ready for my trip. My pleasure, Nak. Always my pleasure. I don't check earnings, Abdul. Personally, I don't look at any sort of fundamental data. The only thing I look at is the specific high impact news, which is a way for myself to time with the markets, to be on time with the markets. Meaning, I only look at the time and consider specific high impact news differently. I have specific profiles, but I don't look at any sort of fundamental data that affects my trading pretty much. Appreciate that, Hamza. Does that make any sense, Abdul? All right. Thank you very much, good sir. Well, I wish you all great trading. As I said in the announcement, I'm going to try and provide some price action reviews. For tomorrow, it will definitely not be possible, as I will be 20,000 feet in the air. But I will try and see if I can make a price action review happen for Thursday. I just don't want to promise anything when I don't even know if I'll have Wi-Fi where I'll be staying. So you guys have a great week. I wish you all good luck trading. And if not, we'll speak more on next weekly outlook for next week. Have a great night, guys.